What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? So, if y'all clicked the title was clickbait. I'm not, I ain't no bully, y'all, first of all, okay? Now, let me tell you, since I have gotten older, especially in my 30s, possibly late 20s, I've been over Nicki ass. I love her, but you can't, just because somebody is turning a certain age, you can't expect people to just grow up in all areas of life. And you know, the media will make some shit more than what it is. So we don't really ever know what's going on. We really only can base it off of the patterns of behavior that we see typically for individuals, right? Y'all know what? I noticed that I'm talking to y'all from my AirPods, and usually I talk from my mic because I want to make sure that I'm clear. So before we get started today, let me fix this. I'm using my little pivot. It usually me, but I don't have that setting on right now, so I gotta screw y'all back on. Hold tight. Hopefully you don't fall over. Ew. I think we good. Oh shit. Ghetto. I'm talking about people. It sound like to y'all, and I ain't got my shit together. Look at me. But this is life. That's what we do, right? It's easy to point the flaws out on other people. It's easy to project our insecurities out on other people, but it's not easy always to point that shit back on us and really digest who we are. I don't know what's going on with the whole Nicki Minaj and Caresha situation. Again, we only know what people are allowing us to see. It's always, what do they say? Your side, that person's side, and the truth. You know why? Because people have different perceptions. What that means is we could be in the same room today. A situation could have occurred. Me, you, and whoever else in the room. Our stories could match and align for the most part, but it's definitely going to be some differences. A major event could have took place and we could have all made witness, but we all going to explain that story differently based off of our perceptions because our reality is different. The trauma we experience is different. It's going to be a different situation. Some could be more vivid than others, and we all was in the same room. You know what I mean? So it's crazy how this shit works, but I was looking at that damn the shit popped up. I think it was on the Shade Room. I was looking at, the little post, and I was just like, I wonder what the hell is really going on. Like, I know that they got a business and people eat off of that, but I'm just like, this shit really be ruining lives. We want and desire to get to a certain level in life. We desire to get to their status. We desire something. Not everybody. I'm not speaking on everybody, but a lot of people do want that. That's why we are able to pay for our blue check marks now and stuff. That's why we are able to, have so much opportunity to be someone we're not or who we would like somebody else to see us as. It's a beautiful and scary thing. It's beautiful and scary at the same time because you can create certain things and it can bring certain ways out of you that you didn't know existed, you could have grew into based off of the path that you took. Because ultimately we try to do the right thing. I was looking at British Williams. I don't even know who this girl is, but I went to her page, started looking. I'm like, okay, she was getting a bag. She's about to do, they talking about facing, I think it said 20 years for this, 15 or 10 years for that. I'm like, damn, they said something about 15 federal crimes she being charged with. I think she gets sentenced August 26th or something like that. So I'm scrolling like, who is this girl? Beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. Then I got to a post of something even more beautiful. Her 5-year-old daughter. Her 5-year-old daughter. And then I seen also, not on her page, but on the post, I think it was from Spiritual World. Why do I follow this shit, right? I can care less about these people business, but I guess it's unfortunately like with me, I keep it, I can care less what's going on, but I kind of have it so I can know what's going on because I feel like a lame when people be talking to me about this shit and I'll just be looking like, and it's so sad because people don't really know how to connect. Oh, we got a follower. Hey, people don't know how to connect anymore. So it's like the conversation starters and shit that people use. It's so ridiculous. I mean, we all on different levels, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate the way that life is. So yeah, I keep the stuff on my Instagram. I follow it, look at whatever pops up. I don't go there and be like, oh, what's going on? But you know, if it pops up, whatever, I might read the article if it looks interesting. But I don't really follow the story. So that's really where it's left. Unless I get the information from somebody else. Like my cousin, he works for Tyler Perry, and before I guess me and him, you can't call it a fallout because we didn't have a fallout, but I had to discern through certain behavior and I had to call him out on certain shit, and I ain't really heard from him and he ain't answering my phone calls. So I guess we fell out. But prior to him getting in his feelings because I stood up for myself and didn't allow him to keep treating me like these nothing ass niggas, because that's what I compared his behavior to. When you supposed to be somebody close to me that I tell some of my deep dark secrets to, and don't need you to verbally and mentally abuse me. I just need you to listen sometimes because I trust you. Well, before all of that took place, you know, he would call me when he felt like it, when it was convenient for him. And he used to tell me a lot of the media's business. You know, he lives, or the celebrities or whatever's business, from what he heard. I don't really think he knows because from what it sounds like he gets his information. And knowing my cousin, he talks and runs his mouth too damn much anyway. So I'm pretty sure by the time the information got to him, some of the shit was already twisted. But he tells me the stuff, tells me what be going on. Some of these people is facing real life fucking, like, this they life. And it's crazy because I'm like, all these motherfuckers, because they work in the industry or they know somebody that knows somebody, just telling y'all business, just telling y'all business. And it makes me look at some people that's facing some real life time. And you know, people that be in the streets is big on loyalty. Y'all motherfuckers is just running y'all fucking mouths. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, y'all. And I think that's part of the reason why I rock alone. Not saying like I be in no in-debt shit, but like I learned that shit at an early age. Like, motherfuckers is snitching. People used to throw me under the bus all the time, and I wouldn't even be like telling no shit. I would be confiding in an individual that I felt like I could trust. That shit used to piss me off. This was as a kid. So I learned that shit real quick. I've always held on to certain relationships because I'm big on loyalty. So like, if I rock with you, I rock with you. If I've made sacrifices for you, I rock. If I love you, it blood couldn't make you any thicker. It don't matter who you are. But unfortunately, you know, we can't really control the world that we're born into, the parents we have, the situation we get dealt with as a baby. That's stuff out of our control. So by the time that we're shaped up to really start thinking to the point that we realize we're thinking on our own, we got a lot of stuff that we may not necessarily agree with, but this is the way until we learn a new one. This life shit, y'all. I just send love and light to everybody. This shit, I don't, you got to be careful with your words. I be wanting to say this shit hard. It's challenging. I grow so much. I think that's too why I rock by myself. I'm like, it's different. It's different. My life is so much different. I remember when I was in a place in life where I felt like it was just a lot of darkness. Not like, oh, I'm seeing shit, but like darkness where like I knew I was self-destructing myself and I felt like I could not get out of the situation. I went to counseling. I went to multiple counselors. I've been going to counselors since I was young. On and off, on and off, on and off. And I couldn't for the life of me understand how I know how I want to be. I want to be so good. I am so good, but I don't want to see I was portrayed as a horrible individual, but I felt like it. My mom made me feel like it at a very young age. I was very isolated. I was by myself all the time on punishment for everything. I remember when I lived in Japan, I was like in the fourth grade, maybe third. My mom was so hard on me. Everything was punishment, man. Even when I lived in North Dakota and I was like 4, I remember writing penalties, just sitting in the room all day. And then if I go on punishment, I'd be on punishment for months. And I wasn't allowed to leave the room. So my imagination, I've always had it. But it's been real self-destructive as I've gotten older. Shit, even as I was younger, but you tend to dwell on more of the more recent memories than you do the ones from long, long time ago. Sometimes certain things have to like stir it up. But y'all, I was so self-destructive. I used to live in my head. I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't stop the thinking. I remember I used to try to get high when I was young, but it made it seem like the thoughts got more vivid. Like, I've been into some crazy situations, and I feel like if it wasn't for who I was as far as the good in me, because it feels like I always felt like for instance, I was in and out of church. Not in enough, long enough, consistent enough for me to like be able to really recite no Bible scriptures. But when I would be in there, it would feel good, but a lot of stuff would feel so like I'm judged here. I can't, but I wanted to be because I felt like that was the only way for me to, I needed to be around other like minded people. When you hang around people that you are unequally yoked with, like we don't get it, we don't understand it because it's sometimes different things are called different things, or you have to like grasp it, and sometimes that lesson or that explanation from somebody is not meant for you to learn at that time. Like sometimes we revoke people's, we delayed, we like interfere, I don't want to say in their blessings, but in a sense because they allow it, so I guess they ultimately do it because we control our realities. But like sometimes when we try to force somebody into doing something that may not resonate with them or try to shift their beliefs, my truth is different than your truth. Your truth is different than this person's truth. You know, some might reside with the Bible, some might reside with Buddha, some might reside with whatever, some might reside with this shit is weird. I don't know what's going on and I just don't know. Listen, but everybody I feel like believe like, okay, something's going on around this mug. I'm not trying to get holy. I'm not trying to get spiritual because, like I said, I've been in and out. But I feel like I have, on a psychological level, on a spiritual level, mostly, have self healed myself so much to the point where I realized I was doing it for other people all my life. That's why people were sucking my energy. And I did it by myself, you know, with people pleasing and not really self destruct ourselves. We don't realize what we're doing. You know, our parents ain't perfect. But the important thing, like, is when you have opportunities to learn and it resonates, like, you know, it's your truth, you know, this feels right. You need to do more of that. This world is messed up, y'all. So messed up. And we all point the finger at everybody else. You know, communication used to be screwed. They said lack of accountability is lower than communication, man. Ain't nobody fucking pointing the finger at themselves. Everybody is blaming everybody else. That shit is frustrating. It's frustrating with raising your kids, especially when you're trying to fix some of the things that you've done that you realize was wrong subconsciously. Um, and now you got to learn different ways and you don't really know. I read books to figure this shit out. I done got parents, right? People will probably think I've had this bomb ass life. They think I've had this bomb ass life all my life. My parents, they did all right. I guess it was never up to my expectations because, first of all, I'm a Taurus. I don't know who the hell I think I am on the inside, but like as a kid, I have always felt like I was supposed to have certain riches, and I just think I was supposed to be rich. I just always wanted to be fucking rich. That was just since a little kid. I've always had big dreams and the shit just stayed. But as I got older and we self destruct ourselves, those dreams just seem less likely until I started seeing people around me make certain shit shape. And I started paying attention to, they all kind of seeing some of the same things. And I realized, like, this is really mental. And I'm like, what helped me get that mental together was spiritual, but not necessarily always in a Bible scripture way. Like, I had to go through some different little flows of outlets of things that helped me get through what it was, that helped me learn different lessons for me to believe certain things or some truth to come to me and I can Google it. Like, I went through a process, but the process was in a short amount of time. Like, I've been on this journey. I remember I had I had a real live spiritual awakening last Easter. And, prior to that, I was in the process of like dibbing and dabbing. I wanted to learn. I was trying to figure some stuff out because I needed to feel different. I was tired. I was like, I'm trying to do this with this business, that with this business. I'm making money here. I can make gross $54,000 in 4 months, not knowing what I was doing with the Amazon store. I'm like, okay, I can really do this. But like, because when I really put my mind to something, girl, I'm cold. But I realized I wasn't passionate about nothing. So I'm like, I really need to become more purposeful. And then it's like, what are you good at? If you ain't really had like no things that you were doing anything authentically with yourself, it's hard to like really grasp to that, especially when like with me, I've always work, or been in a relationship. So I've been giving my energy to everybody but me. Nobody else was pouring back into my cup. I just was pouring. I was mentally fucking ill, drained, exhausted, depressed, suicidal thoughts, never feeling good enough. I went through a lot. People just think I have this magnificent life. People don't know. And when I look at it and I look at the lessons and I look at the situations, all I can really do is blame myself. I really only can blame myself for the things that I went through because I tolerated it. Yes, 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 yes. A lot of the stuff I did not know better subconsciously or consciously. I just was doing certain things and didn't even realize I was accepting the same abuse. But when you repeat the same type of lessons, but the losses from those lessons, like, okay, we know we win some, we lose some, right? But when you keep, I had to sit here like, I've been doing, I'm like, I've been repeating some of these lessons for on and off for 17 years. I'm like, what the fuck, what is going on? So I started going a little further back, digging down in my childhood. What is going on? And I realized, okay, this is why, and that came with, I had to do self guided meditation, you know, where it walks you through it's everybody's not going to resonate with this. So take what would take go with what go take what goes with you, release what doesn't. I'm talking about my process because once upon a time I used to try to do it, where you sit still with God and my thoughts would not stop. So I'm like, this is the same thing, just doing it a different way. So I'm listening and I'm paying attention to how some of this stuff is making me feel. It's helping me heal. I was bringing emotions and memories from doing some of this stuff out that, like, by listening to the guided meditation, instead of you just sitting in silence, it's guiding you. So you might do a self confidence. You want more confidence? You might do a confidence meditation. You might want to do some raise your vibration. You need some dopamine released inside of your brain so you can help feel better. Otherwise, if you're vibrating low, you feel very depressed. You know how you feel when you feel happy. There's meditations that make you feel happier. You don't know what makes you happy, so it's meditations that will put you in that place, because when you keep putting yourself in that energy, you can create from that energy. Blessings come from that energy. When you're self-destructing yourself and you're vibrating low and you don't feel good, even though you can't help it, that energy is still projected out. And it has to come back, y'all. It has to come back. That's what I mean by we self-destructing ourselves. I should teach a class. I should just find a way. I should just, you know, uh, label all this out for you, break it down in different series. But I can't get nobody to pay attention to this freaking YouTube channel. I can't get nobody to see this YouTube channel. So I'm like, I'm gonna just keep trying. because I'm passionate. I feel purposeful doing this. Ain't nobody watching me, but I feel so good getting this information out. And then somebody always sees the video and they leaving me a comment just showing love. So knowing that one person seen it and it was effective, y'all don't know, that makes my day. That helps me be able to, they say humility is the quickest way to advancement. So it helps me get on here and not feel like I'm making a fool out of myself. Because Lord knows when I first started, I did. And sometimes when I get started, I do. Just like when I was sitting here, somebody was watching. I'm like, dang, I shouldn't even smoke. I should have just kept talking because they jumped off quick as fuck. My ego was like, just turn this shit off. But I was like, nah, we gonna stay on task. We gonna stay on task. But I was just like, shoot. Yesterday, I put a live on and they got interrupted. It was quick, and I was like, I tried to delete it, but it must have didn't go through. And I looked again, and it was 30 views, and I'm like, damn. I was kind of happy I was sorry because I'm like, that wasn't good content. They ain't see me do nothing, and I got a like. But I was just like, shoot, it's been more than when I've been posting these videos. I seen a YouTube, this girl Bria. It's on my other video. I can't think of her name right now. I just came across her, but she had this bomb, bomb video, just basically going in, and I kind of felt like it was in alignment, but she was just basically going into more details on how she grew her YouTube. And it was a recent video, so it was new ways. It felt like it matched with the algorithm, but she was giving like cold, like real live knowledge. I'm like, damn, I done took classes and paid thousands of dollars for some of this stuff and still didn't even get this. And I'm like, she reminds me of me. She just really wants to help. She don't know how much she helped me, because the reason why I'm saying this is she mentioned that live, she is finding one of the ways you have to pay attention to what the company wants. For instance, if the company comes with a new tool, that's what they're going to be promoting. Shorts is helping you grow right now because they're competing with their other competitors. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Reels, you know what I mean? So they want to be the most competitive. So yeah, they're going to put your stuff out there so it can be seen because they're going to want you to do it more. You know what I mean? Encourage people to use it more because they want their stuff to be ultimately the number one. I'm like, damn, that makes sense. But she gave a little hint talking about she's hearing to start doing live. So when I seen that it showed 30 people, I'm like, this shit is starting to work. I'm going to just keep on doing it. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense for some of y'all. And I hope somebody that sees this video is a small YouTuber like me, and that message just resonated. Because my thing is, if something ain't working, take some accountability. Because like with me, I've had this YouTube channel since the pandemic. I started it. I had so much time. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just do a YouTube. But I was in a toxic relationship. Some days I felt motivated. Some days I didn't. I didn't like the place that I was staying in. I just moved to Columbus not too long ago, and I was just, I didn't like my aesthetic, y'all. I'm low key bougie, as bougie as I can be. I try not to be, but I like nice things. Like for instance, my bed sits high. I'm gonna show you how hard I be on myself. I don't like this headboard. They broke my headboard when I moved. I don't be wanting to. I be wanting to do my thing in my. I'm big on aesthetic, but like I thought I was moving. I'm just telling y'all all my business, but I feel like this looks like I ain't got no headboard, and I think that's tacky. But in reality, this is a big headboard, and I be looking at other people's. But I think it's just because what I'm used to. So I'm being humble right now. I'm like, girl, at least you can afford to buy a headboard when stuff just gets broke and blah blah. Like, y'all see, I'm crazy. But if anybody hard on themselves, they gonna appreciate me because I've grown from a lot of what I do not do anymore. You know what I mean? I still got my challenges. We gonna always have them. We human. It's always room for growth. That's why you should always be open-minded and willing to learn something. Because you can learn something from anybody, and that's real talk. Because again, we have all different experiences and we learn differently. But I have a meeting in a minute before I go to work, and then I got somebody coming over to put up my grill. Y'all, I should show y'all this grill. My ex-boyfriend got us this grill. You know what? Yeah, he got us this grill. He bought the cheapest one, which I'm not hating, but I had to buy me another grill. I was just like, you can't be having this punk ass grill and have a nerve to want to have a cookout and got me doing and slaving. And do you know how long that shit gonna take? And the motherfucker didn't even know how to grill. But that's another story for another time. Y'all, I'm getting my grill put up. I'm excited because I wanted to barbecue for Memorial Day. I'm like, I got a 3-day weekend, hang out with the kids, um, and just, be able to enjoy life, creating memories. Because I remember it was a time where I wasn't able to do this. We missed a lot of memories. I mean, a lot of holidays together. Me having to work and stuff, and just depending on where I live, what part of the state, or what part of what state should it just depended. But my life is a lot different now, so I appreciate some of the littlest things that we take for granted. I try to show gratitude and everything now, because you guys, I have been humbled, and I've been so resistant. I try to avoid ever having to learn a lesson again, and it's so funny how I'm like, the thing that I was avoiding the most, I was still focused on the wrong things because I'm still here. So, it took me a while to swallow that pill, because I just wasn't understanding it. But I'm starting to go into an acceptance mode, which is good, because that means that I'm going to be out of it. Because I was angry about how the cards fumbled, because I kept blaming, and then I looked and I had to blame myself. Like, yeah, you did it for a good cause. Your heart was good. It was in there for the right reason. But at the end of the day, you still did it to yourself. You allowed this to happen. So I hope I didn't bore y'all too much. Again, I'm about to get on this call, and then I gotta work at 10. So for anybody that sees the video, if you learned something, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate it if you join the community. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.